Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 Remastered. This is 115 speaking, and I would so very much like to welcome you to the first proper level of Alexandria, the Catacombs. Very aptly named, and the remasters have done something truly wonderful with Tomb Raider 4 here, but later about that. Turning what looked more like a generic tomb later on into actual catacombs. In today's level, we are gonna get our hands on all 34 goodies, raising our total pickups count to 307. Those of you who are OGs and remember our 2021 LP will notice there is one extra pickup here in the remaster than it was in the original PC version. Now this could be an extra pickup that was also present in the original PS1 or Dreamcast version. I actually do not have knowledge about that, but there's one additional small medpack to be found here in the remaster, so we'll need to keep that in mind. Furthermore, there are overall 28 enemies, but like I explained in Tomb of Semerkhet, I am removing ore elementals out of the equation, and there are gonna be two new kinds of elementals, or one new kind of elementals, but two in quantity. So these guys I'm removing from the kill count. That means there are 26 kills we are actually gonna land, increasing our total kills count to 177. Furthermore, 4 secrets, raising the total to 48. Again, we are barely scratching the midpoint of the game, and we are already gonna have very soon 50 out of 70 secrets. The secret rate is gonna drop off in later stages. And guys, listen to this. Those of you who are fans of this delicious crunching sound and breaking objects, you'll be happy to know that there are 56 breakable vessels for the Oops achievement to destroy here. Yeah, this is the one level that has the highest number of them, and we're gonna go absolutely crazy, raising the totals for the vessels broken count to 80, which is gonna be immensely satisfying. Okay guys, now as it pertains to other achievements, this is where it gets really interesting. First of all, I believe this is this level specific achievement called De-eskullation. Love the name. So I believe Catacombs are the only level where you'll find skeletons, inert, inactive skeletons, lying on the floor. All other levels containing skeletons will have them essentially appear from the ground combat ready, but Catacombs are a bit of an exception in few occasions. I think there are gonna be 4 situations like that, and overall 6 different skeletons. You essentially need to blow their head off as they're lying on the ground. Simple, easy. I'm gonna show you the earliest possible situation where you can pull that off. Second achievement was clearly made for later Giza stages, but there is a way to unlock it already here today in Catacombs, and that's High Five to Maahes, which asks you to use a super grenade to blow up 5 enemies with just one super grenade. Now guys, this isn't at all difficult to achieve in the Catacombs level, which is why I'm gonna make it difficult, and I'm gonna try and aim for the number of 7. We'll see how successful we'll be. I'll be happy even with just 6. Anywho. Final achievement, and this is the really tough one, and again, this was made for Khufu's Queen's Pyramids, one of the final Giza stages just before the end of the game. I found a way to unlock it already here in the Catacombs level. This is hardly surprising with 56 breakable vessels, but breaking all 8 of these under 10 seconds is going to be very difficult. Make sure you have at least 60 Uzi bullets when trying to attempt it here in the Catacombs. Final detail, all 3 achievements I'm gonna unlock in the same room in the Catacombs level. That room sends shivers down my spine. I'm scared and I don't know what will be happening. Anyway guys, that's it. Let's move on. So first of all, we need to figure out how on earth to open up the path forward. There are a few breakable vessels here, but I'm gonna leave them alone for now, and we see this tile, which again, I'm just gonna assume whenever there's a depiction of an armored Greek-looking man on a horse or wearing a cape or eagle outfit, that this is Alexander the Great. He probably wouldn't be happy with me calling him Greek since he was Macedonian, but hey, let's call him Alexander the Mediterranean. So first things first, we need to move this pillar over on that tile, except you will notice that you cannot move the damn thing because this floor will actually end up falling down somewhat. With the photo mode, oh, I was hoping we could actually look down, we can kind of peek through the crack in the floor. We need to move the column underneath here to support the entire platform, and the way to do that is first of all, yep, this is a button. Kind of the first of its kind. It's the same animation as the smaller ones we encountered before, but never in such size. This enabled us to move the pillar underneath. But guys, what if I was to tell you that in order to get underneath, we need to exit the level. And this is why, my friends, I'm gonna end things here for today, but not before I thank my absolutely amazing patron. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not gonna do that too, don't worry. We're gonna cover everything to do with Catacombs in today's video. So, I think we can do this. Oh, and finally this. And in case you guys have not yet done this, I have covered it in the previous video. There is a torch you can pick up here, light on the brazier over here, be extremely careful when lighting it, and then you can essentially jump up here and remove this boulder out of the way, burning the rope in the process, which I absolutely counted as a breakable object. Or what you can also do is just jump here and immediately get out of the way. You will trigger the boulder as well. But I like burning things and showing you the intended way. So what that means is that last time we essentially cleared the space to enter the crawl space over here, okay? And thankfully, despite being an identical grade to all the others we've seen, this one is crowbarable from this side. Again, I wish there would just be a little visual indication to say that. And when we re-enter this crawl space, yeah, guess what, guys? We are gonna find ourselves back in the catacombs. Oh, yes. I love this loading screen. It's pretty damn cool. Again, it's a reference to, I believe, Tomb Raider Legend, if I'm not mistaken. Another one, actually. We had the previous one in the Guardian of Samarkand level. Now, we are underneath that platform. Since we pressed the button up there, we can move the pillar over on this tile. Now, guys, this is very important. Leave the pillar here. Don't move it one extra tile back, okay? You cannot do it from this direction, but if you are so inclined, you can absolutely push it onto that tile. Don't do it. Something about the engine does not handle two movable objects being on top of one another, you know, unlike in the previous trilogy. So leave it here, otherwise you can hard lock yourself from continuing the game. Now, to be fair and fully transparent, I don't know if this bug exists in the remastered version of the game, but it does exist in the originals, so I would rather not test it. Anywho, guys, this was our second visit into the catacombs. Let's go back to coastal ruins. Yeah, it's not very exciting, is it? Still, it's pretty damn interesting how you have to navigate two levels back and forth like this. But to me, this isn't a feature. This is such a technical limitation of its time, and I'm not the biggest fans. You know, same reason how I felt Tomb of Set and Burial Chambers were supposed to be one and the same level. And the worst offender, really, and I keep bringing this up over and over, sorry if I'm being annoying, but the Lost Library and Hall of Demetrius, again, it just bugs me so much they didn't manage to fit them into one instance. It would make my favorite level of Tomb Raider 4 even better if that was the case. But the Lost Library is awesome even without the Hall of Demetrius part. Anyhow, guys, let's properly re-enter the catacombs. Okay, there we go. And now, my friends, couple of things. Before you do anything, let's break these breakable vessels. Now, isn't that just the sweetest sound you ever heard? None of these contain anything, but again, I just love breaking stuff, and if you're interested in the Oops achievement, you absolutely have to do this. And now, this platform will no longer recede into the floor when we step on it, and this ornamental pillar, again with depiction of Alexandria the Great surrounded by two sphinxes, we can move it around. Okay, and now, you'll be probably caught off guard if this is your first time playing it, but just keep holding the action key and push it all the way across to the room. This is honestly the longest opening to a level we've ever had. I mean, this right now feels more effort than to get the Talion to open the door to the Temple of Xi'an. Because the whole opening process there was part of an FMV cutscene, which actually is a bit of a bummer. I wish we as players could somehow revisit the Great Wall and manually walk up to the door and enter the Talion, but it led to a cooler door opening visual effect. Anywho, the moment you place the pillar here, a monster will appear. Crouching really helps. And I would very much like to take a picture of this absolutely evil looking abomination. So in the original, they were these faceless ghosts almost. These are air wraiths or air elementals. And what I want to do is capture their face. You can see that it has appearance of a Greek woman, which I think is pretty cool. The problem is there's semi-transparency. I can't really get a good shot of it without the background objects interfering. I might... Whoa, that was a bit clumsy. Have to do it in a different situation. I'm probably gonna take damage now, but it's worth taking a picture. Ooh, close call there. Okay, can we take a picture from this? Oh, this is perfect. Dark background. Okay, couple of things. I want to do something about Lara. You know, just being surprised at what on earth is she seeing here. And let's just do this. Nah, she's looking down. That doesn't really work. She's gonna have this kind of attitude. And now I want to capture the elemental in its remastered and original glory. So, again, I love the touch-ups they did here. And I think I'm gonna turn and twist the camera somewhat just to capture the breakable vessels. Yeah, I think this works out great. There we go. They essentially turned this into a Greek woman's head, which is interesting, creepy. I kind of hope that these weren't people once upon a time, but these are just some elementals that makes them a little less creepy, just being forces of nature rather than ghosts. And there we go. And my friends, unfortunately this right here does not count as a kill. As a result, I'm removing these guys altogether from the equation. It's more of a environmental takedown. But you need to essentially lure them to these winged statues and I guess trap them or destroy them. I was never really clear on that. Now, what these statues are supposed to refer to, I have absolutely no idea. Guys, if you have any idea what this could represent as part of Greek or maybe even Egyptian mythology, please let me know your best guesses in the comment section. Okay. More of this. It's especially satisfying if you break multiple with the same shot. It's just, it's great stuff. Okay, guys, so now I would like to grab this pole very carefully. Oh, and let's not forget the breakables over here. Although we will get another opportunity when we re-emerge from that door to break them, so it wouldn't be something unfixable. Okay, and those bronze ones, by the way, cannot be broken. I think we already covered that. Not even with explosives, those tough bastards. Okay, making it to the bottom, make sure to jump back, backflip, and immediately sprint, 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 sprint. You are on a timer, hammer that action key, because the ceiling above is about to crush you. Let's actually look up. Yeah, this is a very close call, so it might not seem like it, but it absolutely is. And my friends, you are in the central chamber of the Catacombs. Let's take a look around, shall we? This place looked gorgeous in the original. It was a bit brighter in the remaster. It is darker, but it is absolutely breathtaking in my opinion. They even added this fog effect in it just to make it feel dusty, like no one's been here for ages. According to Johnny, Von Kreuzmen were here, but they ran away due to Seft's apparitions. Outside of the air elementals, we have yet to see one. Now guys, one of the hardest challenges in the game, so of course I'm not gonna save the game here, is the rope section over here. Here's the gist of it. You're supposed to grab this rope, then that rope, and then make it all the way across where you see a ladder texture and you can descend safely. There is no other way to make it down safely. This pool over here is too shallow to break Lara's fall. What you can also alternatively do is from this rope to not make it there, but instead the first secret of the level over here. This is your one and only chance to get it. If you miss this chance and you choose that path, you'll never get up here again. This is fine on the normal difficulty, but in New Game Plus difficulty, there is that secret and also a large medpack over there. And I have not figured out the way there for how to get all goodies in the New Game Plus difficulty. I might actually have to resort to things like flares, glitches through the walls and things like that, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but we'll see. I'll try to figure something out. First of all, let's solve the problem right ahead. What I really recommend is stabilizing this rope first. So the fastest way to do that is to climb all the way up on the rope, and this increases the speed with which it stabilizes because it kind of removes Lara's swinging momentum. Once it's more or less stable, let's go to the bottom, let's turn around, and now you might be thinking, okay, let's just aim at that rope directly and we're gonna grab it. No. Why would things be so simple? What you actually need to do is aim a bit to the left, and the best way to figure out the correct measure of left is to ensure Lara's head is stuck in between those two ropes, visually speaking. And now, let's swing. Okay, and try not to overjump. Ooh, and there you go. For some reason, you just need to be aligned to the left. It's the only way to grab this rope. If you aim at it directly, it will not work. You know how I figured this out? Trial and error. Lots of trial and error 4 years ago, and I hated it. Now that I know it, it's easy. But it's still stupid. It shouldn't work like this. Okay, and there we go. On to the first secret. See? We don't even need to save. Oh, I'm gonna regret those words horribly, aren't I? Anywho, the first secret has a shotgun, so normal shotgun ammunition, which is always welcome, flares and a large medpack, and this one is mandatory damage fall, so break it with a forward crawl somersault to take less of it, see? And there we have it. And what we essentially decided is you can always choose the right path first or the left one. It's entirely up to you which challenge you want to tackle. Both contain 2 essential key items, which we need 4 of. However, I prefer to do this side first, because I feel the right one is more sort of climatic. It really feels like the climax of the level, and also it leads to a secret exit out of the level into the coastal ruins, which is where I prefer to end things. So, let's break these jars. There we go, and on the other side you can already see a box of white shots, which is just as well. There we go, incredibly satisfying to find goodies inside, and now, don't worry about this fall, water will break it. That is if you can see the water through its invisible texture, yeah. Okay, my friends, so this is really one of the 2 rooms that pops into my mind whenever I think of the Catacombs, and I quite like it. This is awesome. And now you'll see a skeleton appearing, and not just any skeleton. They might look familiar, but also a little bit different, and that's because they totally are. Oh, these are good lighting conditions, I quite like this. These guys I refer to as Greek skeletons, because they seem to wear more of a Greek-looking armor, which is very appropriate. Do they have to be in a dark spot in the OG? Anyway, there we have it. These guys are functionally the same as those basic looking ones we saw in Coastal Ruins, but it's just a bit of a different design. Now what they also tend to do is jump around between that platform and this platform, and occasionally they might fall, but should that happen, your kills count will increase, so don't you worry about that for now, okay? In the original, when I had that self-imposed challenge where I need to be the one to deliver the killing blow, I shot them first and then started platforming around, but since we don't have to do that now, let's see if those guys will have an accident or not. I think that's way more fun now. Okay, wonderful. This jump I don't like. It always feels a little like I'm gonna overjump. Let's take an extra step back and twist and turn, Lara. Wonderful. And now can we... No, Lara, don't aim at the... skeleton, at the jar, please. Oh my god. Why? I really... I just wanted to break the jar mid-jump. That's what I wanted to do. Anywho. There we go, white shots are ours. And now that we stepped on this tile, this summoned another skeleton. And again, you can just let them frolic and fool around. We'll see if they'll have an accident or not. That is always fun to guess. Now what we need to do is monkey swing where the lever is. However, there is a bit of a warning in the distance in the form of those faces. I think what they're supposed to represent are naiads, the daughters of the god Poseidon. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see their depictions in the following level called the Temple of Poseidon. Yeah, and this is mandatory damage. It's kind of unavoidable there, whilst you're monkey swinging or pulling this lever. But anyhow, we extended additional platforms, let's jump into the water. Woohoo! And whilst the skeletons are jumping around, we need to lure the air elemental to another statue right over here. Let's see how long this will take. This always makes me nervous because we are running out of breath whilst the elemental is just frolicking around. Ah, there we go. Okay, that was one of the faster ways of dispatching it. And now we extended all the platforms we needed, so let's reclimb all the way back up. And you know what, for these two guys, oh yeah, they still are there, none of them had an accident, cool. For these fellas, I want to use the white shots. There's one. Wow, this blast knocked him forward? How does that even remotely work? I was kind of hoping we could get two of them with one blast, but there you have it. Okay, awesome. The room is now clear. And I want to take you there. This, by the way, you will need to grab. It is quite the distance away, even though it might not look like it. And the jump over here, again, requires a pretty good alignment. But come on, guys. If you've played the previous entries, you're an absolute professional at this by this point. However, if you were to force me to use the modern controls, I would probably do miserably. That's me not dissing modern controls, it's just I'm so used to tank that I don't see a reason to learn an entirely new control scheme. Okay, so let's shimmy across. By the way, each time you fall into the water here, you'll just need to swim back and repeat that platforming section over and over, okay? So let's avoid such a time sink. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time you are actually sort of forced to use corner shimmying in Tomb Raider 4 quite late in the game. Well, there was of course that secret in Alexandria, but you know, secrets are optional, so I don't count that. Okay, and now more breakable vessels. Let's get rid of them. And this one, these, I believe, are all empty. And my friends, I am now going to save the game here, because this is the room I talked about, where we are gonna unlock all 3 achievements, and I'm gonna start with de-eskullation. Let's see how that will go. Okay, so first of all, there is rope swinging. In case you hate rope swinging, I have bad news for you, but don't worry, we're only gonna do this once. What I wanna do, first and foremost... Okay, barely made it. No, Lara, the shotgun please. Let's knock him back. Okay. What I want to do is get rid of these extra skeletons and... Oh my god. Whew. Okay, they had us surrounded. And focus on de-eskullation. We have the laser sight working, wonderful. What I love to do is get over here. The hitboxes can be a bit strange, but this should work. Oh, there we go. Decapitate a skeleton before it wakes up. Now, in case you're wondering what happens when it wakes up, well, it still will, and it will start running around. There it is. Poor thing. Yeah, you can... I see, so without a skull, they cannot even estimate when to jump. Oh, that is pretty funny. Okay, that's pretty damn sweet. Anywho, guys, the other achievement I want to focus on is high five to Maahes, which means we need to blow up 5 or more skeletons with 1 super grenade. And guess what? I want to try and do it to all 7 skeletons. Let's see how this will go. Alrighty then. So first of all, let's again re-grab the rope. And what we should do first is again jump all the way over there. Okay, cool. We are surrounded by 3 skeletons. 2 of them have woken up. The third one will wake up now that we pick up the piece of the trident. Oh my god. Okay, this was a terrible plan. It doesn't matter, we're gonna reload. We're in it just for the achievement. Then make sure to step on this platform. And... oof. Okay, the breakable vessels aren't making this any easier, and also climb up here. And if none of the skeletons had an accident and they didn't fall down or anything like that, you should pretty much be surrounded with 7 of them. Let's wait. Oh, I see 5. There's the 6th, and from the distance I heard the 7th one jumping, and we'll see what will happen. Oh, I can't wait. If this will work, this is gonna be phenomenal. Yes, guys, we have 7 skeletons. Oh shoot, I think one of them just had an accident. Okay, let's take that super grenade out. Okay, so 6, that's still fine. But there we go, high five to Maahes. So what you essentially need to do to summon as many skeletons as possible is just repeat the pattern from the rope, jump over here, you will wake up that skeleton and the one opposite, then pick up the trident, you will wake up the lying skeleton over here, and from the trident, just make it here. Remember to step on this tile and also climb up here, and you will summon all 7 skeletons of the room, okay? And you can absolutely blow up 7 of them, but one of them just decided to jump off at the very last second, almost like he knew what Lara's planning to do. Anyway, guys, this was a lot of fun. I'm gonna again reload to the beginning of the room, and the only thing I'll care about is now focusing on blowing off some Steam achievement. We need to set it up first. Let's see how this will go. Alrighty then, so first things first, what I recommend this time, switch to explosive arrows and already be ready to shoot the skeleton and the lying skeleton both that will jump over here, okay? It can take a while. Hello? Oh my god, he's stuck? Oh no, there he is, okay, cool. And let's just make sure we didn't blow up any breakable vessels. Wonderful, the 4 of them are there. There's another skeleton over there. That one I will probably take care of using the white shots. Let's see. So let's just make it to the platform over there. Or if we'll get lucky and he'll have an accident, that's still fine. Our kills count will increase. Okay, there we go. Woohoo! Alrighty then, and we now have the perfect setup to blow off some steam. So guys, let me explain the gist of it. You need to do it not in 10 seconds, but less than 10 seconds. And guess what? There's 2 breakable vessels there, 2 over there, that's 4, then 4 more over here, which is 8. And this is the final, 9 breakable vessels, not 8, 9th one we need to break. And to do it in 10 seconds is tricky. The best way to go about this is to have Uzis, and like I said, you need to have at least 60 Uzi bullets. If you unfortunately don't have them, that's fine. Leave all these breakable vessels alone, keep playing the level until you find some Uzi clips and then come back and do this, okay? There should be sufficient Uzi clip ammunition in this level. Now, I'm gonna explain the sequence. What you'll need to do is crouch, fire at those 2 jars, then holster your gun so you have more precise control over Lara, turn again, crouch and fire, and again crouch and fire, and then make a suicidal jump forward, firing at that final jar. If everything went correctly, your achievement should pop, but Lara will die. But that's fine, because that's why we are gonna save in this spot. And guys, this is difficult, okay? This isn't easy, so don't be disheartened if it takes you over 20 attempts or something like that. We'll see how I will do, but for now, let's just save the game here and initiate this crazy sequence. Okay. Okay, that was excellent. Oh no, one more. Shoot, Miss Croft, fire at it. Damn it. To be fair, this was probably way over 10 seconds, but we'll see. And I'll just keep trying this again and again until we pull it off. Okay, crouch, fire, stand up, holster guns, unholster, fire. Okay, it's easier to just show you than to comment. Oh my god, we are so close, and time this correctly. Ah! We have been so close. Let's see, did we miss a jar, a vessel, or anything like that, or was it just the time? Ah, no, this was considered still too slow. Okay, anyway, we're getting there. Let's do this again. Yes! Oh, okay, I'm sure Lara's not happy about what just happened, but I sure am. Guys, this is very tricky, I understand that. If you're struggling with this and don't have the patience for it, you can absolutely do it towards the end of the game in Khufu's Queen's Pyramids. But you know me, I just like to figure out ways how to unlock them as soon as possible. It's always a lot of fun. Anywho guys, let's reload and let's now explore this place in peace. Alrighty then, let's not waste any precious Uzi ammo. Oh, by the way, one thing I'd like to point out is, in the original version, if you break all these vessels, you will actually find that a box of normal shotgun shells appears under your feet. This was a weird bug. In the remaster, they seem to have fixed it, and the box of normal shotgun shells appears where it's supposed to. Furthermore, this small medpack never appeared in the original version. Is this the new item I talked about? No. This small medpack only appeared if you blew up a particular skeleton, okay? And this is really interesting because it was kind of a weird glitch. It was the one and only skeleton in the game that actually gets you an item. Now, before we pick up the Trident, I just want to grab this. And that's because there are white shot shells in the jar over there, okay? So we cannot just leave them hanging there. Come on, that wouldn't be fair. There we go. And now it's probably a good idea to wait for the rope to stabilize before we attempt to grab it. Oh, looks like it's stable already. Awesome. Now, I would like to make it directly on top of the Trident pedestal, which... Ooh! Oh, my stomach. Okay, good. There we go. So what is it we actually picked up? A Trident. And guess what, guys? We need 4 of these. And they don't play any role whatsoever in the Catacombs level. They are all pertinent to the Temple of Poseidon. If you find yourself in the Temple of Poseidon missing a Trident or 2, you need to make it all the way back to the Catacombs, which is pretty damn interesting. Anywho, we can explore what's down there. There are 3 goodies for us to pick up and 2 vessels to break. So let's not forget about this abyss. I like the fact that there is a safe way to access it. You know what? I'm gonna drop the flare there, break this vessel over here, and then another one over in this corner. Okay. There we go. Awesome. Simple, easy. You have explored the bottom of this pit. And there are more corners around this area, but they are all empty. There aren't any breakable vessels or goodies or anything like that. So... let's reclimb this thing and be very careful not to let go of the action key because the flare will go out, and if you let go of the action key, Lara will not re-grab the ladder and will end up having a nasty fall. Although I think with the current health we have, she could survive it, but I don't really even want to put that to the test. Okay. There we go. And finally, these jars. And there we go. The room is more or less clear. Let's step on this platform to summon the remaining skeletons, and then let's also reclimb it up over here. Oh, there they are, those buggers. And for now, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna again resort to explosives, but this time just a normal grenade, you know? It's less valuable than the super one. I would just like the guys to start hanging around here. And we pretty much did away with 3 skeletons, so I would like to see 4 of them here. There we go. Awesome. And the best way to do this, climb up, get the grenade launcher out, and immediately fire. You will take some damage when a grenade explodes up close like this. Lara probably just lost her eyebrows, the poor girl, but hey, it's absolutely worth it. And we are done with this terrifying room. The difficult part of the Catacombs, mostly due to the achievements, is over. So let's keep going. But there are so many pitfalls in this level, and I kind of will not want to save up until close to the very end, where I want to try something out that didn't really work out in the original, involving a super grenade. We'll see, we'll see. I do want to use a super grenade in this level, because there's a perfect setup for it later on. Okay, oh, this guy, yeah. It's a bit tricky to try and make him fall into the pit, so it's always good to hop back as you fire the grenade, so that you'll avoid taking any residual damage whatsoever. And for some reason I thought this is only pertaining to the New Game Plus difficulty, but no, apparently there's damage even in the normal one. But I think this was not the case in the original PC version, that's where I'm mistaking it. But the original PC version even had busted Ahmed's grenades from his truck. That would just not deal any damage to you whatsoever, which kind of sucked. That was not the way it was intended. So the remasters have fixed that. Okay, I think these are explosive crossbow bolts. Let's break that before we start climbing again. Again, stopping to destroy all these. If you are gonna end up missing 1 or 2 breakable vessels, it can be pretty painful to try to figure out where it was. And honestly, when it comes to these breakables, back when I tackled Tomb Raider 4, I was not even thinking of breakables up until I started making the final stats video, so even my 2021 notes don't contain them. I'm doing all of these from memory. Oh, talking about memory, do you guys remember this place? Yep, the beginning crossroad with the climbable pole. And there's a skeleton. Ooh, Tomb Raider FPS, nice. Love to see iron sights on the new weapon models. Okay, so we can go down all the way again. This time there will be no crusher trying to destroy us, so that makes things a little bit easier, but there will be a skeleton. What I recommend is going to the very edge, and as he approaches, backflip before he pushes you down, and with 1 shotgun blast, you just drove him over the edge. It's very efficient. I love doing this. Also, the only way to get down, well, This is why I said you will never ever get to re-access that secret, the ropes, or in the New Game Plus difficulty, the medpack, because Lara cannot make the jump over here, this bridge has broken, and that's it, you're kind of screwed. You can only get down from here, and that's via using this ladder. Okay, I wasn't sure we were correctly lined up. I didn't want to take any risks. Down here, there'll be another 2 skeletons to welcome you. These guys don't feel bad about wasting a grenade on... Oh my god, Lara. What? I don't believe it. How did it take 3 grenades and us taking damage to bring them down? She shot her foot first and then suddenly the grenade had no blast radius. Oh, this is a disaster. Okay, well, great. Let's cheer ourselves up via breaking these vessels. And by the way, if you want to continue on to the Temple of Poseidon, you can go over here. But remember, you need 4 tridents, not just 2, before you'll be able to make any serious progress there. But, you know, in case you're inquisitive, curious, and like to do things non-linearly, you of course can. But I'm not going to do that making a guide, I would just end up confusing you. So, let's go down here. I'm going to waste yet another grenade, but I think this one will be well used. So first of all, there are 3 skeletons I want to blow up with 1 grenade, kind of literally the opposite of the situation we just were in. So, there's 1. Let's just make sure he follows us. Okay, he's a bit shy and needs a little bit of encouragement, I get that, I've been there myself. Then, let's retrace our steps and let's enter here and we'll be ambushed. Yeah, if you expected it's not as terrifying. And finally, let's lead both of these guys. Okay, that guy needs a little extra time. No, no, stop poking me with wooden sticks, please. Okay, and there's the 3rd one. By the way, this is another viable target for de-escalation, but this is what I like to do. Again, Lara, your eyebrows didn't even have a chance to regrow, but we also broke 3 breakable vessels. And now the whole place is clear, we don't have to worry. We can explore the actual catacombs. And guys, this is what I said when I mentioned remasters have turned a rather generic looking place into catacombs with buried people. I can't begin to tell you how much I love this. So, in case you're new here, this might be a bit confusing. This is how we entered, okay? So first things first. There is a pit here. You can always use these small pits to get rid of the skeletons and make them fall and shatter with your shotgun. But of course we handle things a bit differently. Over there is the entrance to the 2nd secret of the level. I try to remember which it is in order. This is the 2nd one. And this entire platform looks a bit dodgy, especially if you switch to original graphics, it's all bugged out. That's because this is an elevator. But the only way to trigger the elevator or prime it to be triggered is to pick up the 3rd trident, okay? So, then we'll need to backtrack. It's a bit vicious. Empty but really easily missable jar over there. And let's keep going deeper and deeper. Oh, guys, I talked about there being 1 new extra goodie in the remastered version of this level, and there it is. In the original PC version, at least, not sure about PS1, there were Uzi clips, but now we have Uzi clips and a small medpack. That's why there are 34, not 33 goodies over here, and that kind of makes me think, was this a bug in the original PC release that the remasters have fixed? I would really like to know. Anywho, that's it. By the way, in case you're wondering what the point of this alcove is, you can use it as a way back to drop down from a higher level, which is where we are actually heading now, but there's really no point, and I think even with a forward crawl somersault you will take some damage, so I wouldn't recommend it. And now, we've been here, we blew up the skeletons at the back, let's just scan the room for any vessels. Thank you, Miss Croft, for cooperating. I believe these pits are always empty, but there's some additional skeleton detail that could also in the remasters serve as a hint that, you know, lure the skeletons there, make them fall and you'll see what happens. It's pretty cool. I really love this. They actually made the Catacombs level deserve its name here. It's wonderful. I'm just gonna gush about the remasters here. Okay, so let's climb up. And more white shots. The white shot placement also is almost like a suggestion from the core era devs that, yeah, use the white shots here. Don't waste the good normal shotgun ammo. And there we go. Woohoo! Always like to capture in detail how they shatter. It's pretty damn funny. And very, very easy to miss. But there is a large medpack over here. Okay, that was a bit risky. And now there'll be 2 more skeletons trying to hamper our progress. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, this right here is a window overlooking the second secret elevator, okay? Just in case you were wondering where it leads to. I already showed it to you from the bottom. Okay, now 2 skeletons are appearing. Before they encircle us, let's get rid of this guy. Oh my god, Lara, you blasted him on the... Well, this isn't working. Okay, so... ton of ammunition later. Well, we broke the shield arm. I imagine this would turn out differently. Ah, who cares? It's white shot ammunition. That's the good thing about not using the good one. Okay. Well, those bastards did surprise us there, but... it's just a shame we did get hit. I don't appreciate taking this much damage. Anywho, these are kind of merged together, so there's a bit of graphical glitch there, but it's a normal and a white shot box. And now, this ladder, which always draws my eyes to the depiction of the horseman there, which again, I'm just assuming is good old Alexander the Great. Let's take a closer look at it, actually. Yep, on horseback, in almost golden-like looking armor. That must be him, surely. Oh yeah, this is what I talked about. You can drop down here to the bottom level over here, but you cannot climb up. This is not a ladder texture. I really don't see a reason why we want to do that. And actually end up taking even more damage, okay? So, we explored the bottom level, the first level. We are now moving on to the second one, which contains a box of shotgun shells. And now you get to pick up the 3rd Trident. And there we go. The secret to elevator is primed and ready. I'm gonna show you a way to get to it, which is a little bit more efficient, whilst also exploring the ledges over here, okay? So, first of all, there is corner ledge over there I'd like to reach. Let's do it in style. Why the hell not? And I'm gonna light up a flare for you, because it's pretty damn dark. Again, with object highlights and action indicators, it's not needed, but for me, it just breaks the immersion somewhat. And it makes it feel more earned when we reach it. That was actually an incredibly close call. I almost killed Lara trying to be stylish. Come on, that's what Lara would have done. Anywho, a skeleton has now appeared, so let's prime our shotgun this time. And not repeat the blunder from earlier. There we go. Wonderful. We can make it here. Before we'll start rope swinging and all that stuff, I think this is the best time to essentially access the second secret, because it's just underneath us. Wonderful. Doing it like this, you'll avoid taking any falling damage. And taking a closer look at the window, you can see the corridor where the elevator is supposed to lead us. So again, picking up the, well, what in my playthrough is the 3rd Trident. It could also be your first if you choose this side first. This primes the elevator. You can now access it. You can already hold forward in action when you're leaning up against the wall, and Lara will climb up. All it contains is a single jar. Doesn't sound like much, but it's what's inside the jar that's really interesting, because we are gonna get our hands on explosive crossbow bolts. And white shots and a medpack, who cares about that? But explosive bolts, come on, the best ammo in the game. Alrighty then, now we are again back to the first level. So we need to make it to the second. Again, I'm gonna re-grab the ladder, and it's been ages since I saved, so I'm just gonna, you know, take it slow, take it easy, align myself before those jumps. And we are soon gonna reach sort of the final room of the Catacombs level, okay? It feels good to finally be exploring a large one, you know? I mean, it's no Tomb of Samarkand, but then again, what is, right? Oh my god, okay, okay. That looked like it's more further away than it really is. And... that looks like a grabbing jump. I don't know, it's making my stomach go a bit nervous, so no, let's not do that. Besides, there are no goodies there. What we want to do is just grab this rope. From this rope, you can immediately try and swing into that opening over there, or you can just try and make it to the platform on the other side, which is what I would recommend, because this will also allow us to get rid of a skeleton, and we don't have to rope swing ever again in this level. Well, you know what, let's give him time. Let's not jump to the middle platform. Woohoo! This never ceases to be funny. And by the way, what you see over here almost shining in the distance is an openable panel. Look how reversed the lighting situation is. Well, I do prefer the remaster. This, my friends, is the 4th and final secret of the Catacombs level, and in order to prime it open, you actually need to touch a tile, just step on it, a tile that's in the 3rd secret, which is also where we are headed now. Although this is mandatory for the 4th Trident piece, it also contains the 3rd secret, which arguably is even more cryptic than the elevator that we had to backtrack to. We'll see. Okay, guys, you know what I'm about to do. Breakable vessels, another worthwhile de-escalation target, but now just a pile for the explosives. Oh, I love doing this, it's so much fun, my goodness. Of course, you can wait for him to wake up and then blast him with the white shotgun shells, but honestly, given there exist explosive crossbow bolts, we don't need normal grenades at all. They are just a terrible version of the explosive crossbow bolts. Those, by the way, even if you blast your face from up close, don't even deal damage to Lara, so there's just disadvantages to the normal grenades, unlike the super grenades. So first of all, guys, in order to unlock the 3rd secret, you need to break these bone piles, and this is how I'm gonna go about it. You can also manually with a shotgun. You don't need to waste normal crossbow bolts, but if you want, you can do so. I think... oh, we were at explosive, we don't want to do that. So first of all, you can do... oh my god, the hitboxes here are awful. Let's do it like this. Yeah, it just doesn't make much sense. You can also, by the way, do this without the laser sight. Let's see if I can pull that off. There we go, yeah. So there are so many ways you can go about this. Also, keep in mind the breakable vessels. There we go. And my friends, those were 3 bone piles. There's a few more. There's one over here, and there's also one over there. Okay? So that's 2 more bone piles we need to break for the 3rd secret to become accessible. Keep in mind, there's 3 skeletons surrounding the Trident. You know what's gonna happen. And guys, again, worthwhile de-escalation targets, but what I'd love to do is something I have regretted ever since 2021, and that was me lobbing a super grenade and almost nothing happening because the way it clustered was just very unfortunate. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to this. So let's align Lara's head against the wall over there and lob a grenade. Oh my god. So this time around, I'm gonna make a save here until this works out exactly as I always wanted it to those 4 years back. Oh my god. We cleared the room. No skeletons, all 3 of them down, and the bone pile as well. There is one more bone pile over here. You know what, let me take white shots for this. God, that's what I wanted to happen all those years back. And now, my friends, you have accessed the 3rd secret, and if you step on this dark tile with your reward, explosive arrows by the way, you will also unlock the 4th secret, which we now need to access. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave the Trident here for when we wrap things up with the 4th secret. It'll be pretty awkward if I'll forget and I'll be wondering at the level end stats. Why are we missing an item? Nah, I'm sure that's not what's gonna happen. My memory is not that bad. Right, Lara? I think she's being silent out of being polite. Okay, let's just make it down. Although a safety drop could have done the trick. Oh well. Okay, and now let's make it here. And remember where we dispatched the skeleton with white shots? We essentially need to go there. My god, I'm really lining up every single jump. That's because I'm scared, because I'm so close to finish line. And there we go, the 4th secret, more explosive bolts. Okay, we just gotta check how many we have. Normal shot, white shot, and large medpack. Incredibly generous secret. And now let's make it all the way back, and I just want to see how many we got. 78. This is literally enough to carry us across the entire game. By the way, something I haven't really talked about are the poison crossbow bolts. I have talked about these in detail in my Times exclusive level video, so feel free to check that one out. There will be achievements tied to this, and also I will demonstrate the power of poisonous arrows on organic enemies. It's gonna do absolutely nothing to skeletons. And I think the first such worthwhile target, an enemy, will really be in the Hall of Demetrius, which is tied to an incredibly fun achievement that I love so much. Anywho, and then later on in Pharaoh's Temple of Isis, we are actually gonna poison a shark with these, as bizarre as it sounds. We're not gonna punch the shark like Angelina Jolie though, that's a bit of a bummer. Anywho guys, the final 4th Trident. And now that you have all 4 of them, what you can essentially do is go all the way back to the central chamber of Catacombs and access the Temple of Poseidon. But what if I told you that there is a more efficient way, which also involves a couple of breakables and kills. See, we are still missing 2 breakable vessels in this level, and those are in this secret corridor, which leads to coastal ruins. And there they are. So, let's do this. Let's do that. And on the final or penultimate square, I would very much like to save the game. Okay, my friends, I am so happy to see this stat screen. We have gotten our hands on all 34 goodies. 1 extra small med pack as opposed to the original PC version. We have also landed all 26 skeleton kills. I'm not counting the 2 air wraiths or air elementals at all in the equation to follow the Saber Aspire way of tracking it. But there will be a point later in Alexandria where I'm gonna have to have a breakup with the Saber and Aspire way of tracking kills, and I'll explain later. We've also got our hands on all 4 secrets, raising the total to 48, and we have not missed a single breakable vessel, so you want to be at the number 80 right now. Thank goodness. Now, when it comes to the Oops achievement, I always provide timestamps in the description below for where all the breakable vessels are. You guys already see what the description section looks like. It's probably a mess, but I want to ensure that in case you find something missing, you can just scroll through the time links in the description and find exactly the one which you are missing. I think it's worthwhile in the long run, and it's gonna make for a better guide. Furthermore, we unlock 3 achievements. First of all, De-eskullation. There were 4 different opportunities. 1, 2, 3 skeletons, then another place with 3 skeletons. You can de-escalate like this. Also, we have managed to blow up not 7, but 6 skeletons with 1 super grenades. But of course, for the achievement, you just need to do it in 5, and I showed you the setup to do it. And finally, the hardest challenge of the level, honestly, breaking all 9 vessels in under 10 seconds. Again, make sure you have at least 60 Uzi bullets, and keep switching between crawling, holstering, unholstering your guns, just like I did it, to have more control over Lara. If you try to turn her in the tank controls, that is, with your guns unholstered, it's impossible to aim. But if you do it when the guns are holstered, and then once you're aligned correctly, unholster them, that's how to do it. Okay guys, so I hope you found today's video helpful. Now it's gonna be quite a while before I'll tackle the next one, because I'm not gonna release just one, but I'm gonna release 2 videos next time, because one is gonna be very brief detour through the coastal ruins again for some kills, and the other is gonna be us tackling Temple of Poseidon. And I don't wanna just release the video with the coastal ruins without the Temple of Poseidon. Okay guys, so before I start working on that, I would just very much like to say thanks to my absolutely amazing patrons. Blangupel, Mick, Severin Drax, Enstickle, Katie Danger, Buddha2, Basic Bryony, and Bino. Thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons, and for painstakingly restoring some of the greatest artworks found in the Catacombs. Next, I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkey, Caravetu, Renegade Derny, Blanket Fox, Jonathan Jones, Dig the Bee, and PD92. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel, and also for putting on the doorman suit today and helping us unseal the catacombs. Whilst Lara was in fact pressing the button topside, you were pulling the heavy column downstairs, and together you guys have managed to open up the entrance. I would also like to give special thanks to my brave veteran Winstons, Andrea Paviglianiti, Alexander, and Richard Dearman. Thank you so much for your valiant support of the channel, and also for calling in your war buddies with baseball bats, crowbars and tire irons and wrecking the place together with Lara. Nothing like breaking apart a few priceless artifacts to let Lara blow off some steam. And finally, I would like to give one very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your long and generous support of the channel, and also for today for setting up the winged statues all over the place, singing a soothing melody to the upset air wraiths, putting them to rest. This is not unlike the lullabies you used to sing to young Lara back when she was too small and too slow to lure you into the freezer, get out and lock you in time. And on a final note, I'd like to say thanks to my free Patreon members as well as to each and every one of you for watching the video to the very end. This really helps kick the algorithm in the pants, especially in the case of demonetized videos like all of mine are. Now guys, it feels incredible to finally release a larger Tomb Raider 4 episode. You know how this game is structured, it's little bits and pieces with really few exceptions to the rule, and I feel Catacombs was one of them, an hour-long episode finally. Next time, be on the lookout for 2 videos, one incredibly short and one sort of a mid-sized level where we'll wrap things up in the Temple of Poseidon and find yet another secret exit into the coastal ruins. But that is for another time. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and until I'll see you next time, I want to wish all of you happy raiding.